Well, hello there, everyone. This is Tamika Hall from PageantInsiderNews.com, and I'm so excited about today's podcast. Now, you know at PageantInsiderNews.com, we are there about giving you the glamorous scoop. Now, I had the opportunity to speak with the fabulous Victoria Hughes, who is the CEO of the U.S. Universal System. And I'll tell you, I fell in love with this system as soon as I was reporting about Mrs. Universe, and I reported on Amanda Grad, who is the current Mrs. U.S. Universal. Fell in love with the system, and I know that after you listen to this interview, you're going to fall in love not only with the system, but also with Victoria, just as I have. So I want you to grab your favorite protein shake and get ready to hear a great interview. Well, hi, Victoria. Thank you so much for joining me in the PageantInsiderNews.com. Thank you so much for joining me and the PageantInsiderNews.com community. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tamika. I'm doing wonderful. Happy New Year, and thank you so much for having me on.
Well, Happy New Year to you, too. I'm excited about all the new things that 2014 is going to bring us, and I'm so excited to really kick everything off with you. I actually, not sure if you caught it just the other day, I re-released the podcast with me and Amanda Grad, and I said, you know what? Well, I've had Amanda on. We need to bring Victoria onto the podcast. So I'm excited to have you on here so that you can really talk to us about the U.S. Universal System.
Absolutely. Anything. Ask away.
Well, here we go. We're going to ask away. So let's just kind of jump into it a little bit. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you actually got into the pageant game? Because I love asking people these different questions. All of us have different reasons why we entered. So how did you get involved in pageantry?
My very first pageant I ever competed in was in 1996 for the title of Miss New Mexico Teen USA. And how that came about, I had a high school boyfriend, and he had a barber, and one day we went to go to the barber shop, and the barber said, you know what? I used to train May Shanley, and I also coached her to Miss USA, and you should compete for Miss New Mexico. Have you ever thought about it? I'm like, no. I'm just a Texas girl that grew up watching 5 back-to-back Miss USAs, and now I live in New Mexico, and I have no idea how to get into it. So, needless to say, I placed in the top 10 and decided to come back again the very next year. I won and was crowned Miss New Mexico Teen USA 1997 and competed at Miss Teen USA.
Well, that's awesome. You know, a lot of us, I think, the USA system, whether it's teen, Miss, or, when you hit Universe, I think that's just kind of like the holy grail of pageants. And, not many of us can actually be part of that special sorority of competing on the national level. So kudos to you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, so, did you continue on from the teen pageant, and, did you roll over into doing Miss and then Mrs.? How did your pageant career continue?
I did. I later competed for Miss New Mexico USA 2000 and 2001, where I placed as a runner-up. And then fast forward to 2010, and I was married. I competed for the Mrs. Colorado America pageant and placed in the top 6. Honestly, in a nutshell, even though I very, very much enjoyed the personal gains of getting in shape and challenging my interview skills, I have to say that I never really had any positive pageant experiences, and it's very sad. Most of the ladies were always very mean and seemed to think that they have a PhD in mind games, and I guarantee you know a few of those yourself.
Yes.
It was very sad seeing how others were treated. I've always been the type of person to stand up to bullies, even if I knew that the pageant world would spread rumors about me and blackball me. The truth is my own, and I have always known what I stand for, and that's equality and fairness amongst everybody on all levels, whether you be poor or rich or African American or white or purple. It doesn't matter.
That's right. You know, it's so funny that you say that, and first of all, thank you for just being open, because a lot of us, I cannot imagine one person not having a rough pageant experience at some point. So I'm like you. I don't believe it when people say to me, I've always enjoyed every single pageant experience. I think that all of us have learned how to sift out the bad, and we take the good from it, you know, because there's so many great gains that you can make from it besides, you know, interview skills, networking, and all of those great things. But a lot of us, like you said, some have a PhD in mind games, and that really is the ugly side of pageantry. You have beautiful women on stage, and unfortunately, some of them are very ugly on the inside, and that's what's really sad. So thank you for exposing the pageant mafia that exists, you know, behind the crowns and the stilettos.
Anyone that's ever known me knows that I'm not one for sugarcoating anything, and it's not to put a bad name out there. It's just, it is what it is. And it's okay to own your truth. It's okay to say life isn't perfect and pageants aren't perfect. It is a lot of work. There are a lot of not nice people, but there's also some very, very wonderful women. And over the past couple of years, I've gotten to know those wonderful women, and we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yeah, because that's really a perfect segue into me asking you, you know, what prompted you to create your own pageant system. Do you feel like that kind of came from those not so nice experiences, and you're trying to marry, or not marry, but trying to create a great experience for everyone where you're not going to have a lot of backbiting and the mind games and what have you?
To be quite honest, after having been in pageantry since 1996, seeing how so many others run their businesses, both as a contestant and working underneath some as well as a director, I've seen very unethical things taking place. I wanted to start a program where all women were created equally, no matter if they have zero pageant background or 15 years experience. I don't believe in paying your dues in order to win. A first-timer, just as wonderful as a title holder as someone that's been brought up since birth to flash a smile and wave. Like, I've never understood that. So here I am, brand new, let's go.
Yes. Well, then, you know, talk to us about your U.S. Universal system. I know that this is a fairly new system, and the great thing is that you do have a lot of experience behind the scenes. And, I mean, a lot of people that are listening, they don't know you, they don't know your work ethic, but you are, you know, you're amazing. You're just an amazing woman in stilettos, and you are a great businesswoman. There are a lot of systems out here where, you know, everybody's trying to start a new pageant system every minute, and a lot of them don't know how to run a business. They don't know the business of queens, and I will be honest, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm one of those savvy queens, so that when we enter into a partnership, it's a partnership, and I recognize that when I have the crown, there's a certain level of, you know, of what I'm going to do for the crown, and et cetera. But you definitely bring your A game with, you know, just the business ethics that you have. So talk to us about your system that you created here.
We are perhaps the most modern and progressive married women's pageant currently in the United States. I require my national holders to make charitable appearances only twice a month, and it can be anything that is near and dear to their hearts. I choose to focus on married women, and that's simple. There aren't enough quality programs out there to choose from. It's getting boring.
Right.
Getting very boring for married women when you only have less than a handful to choose from. Most are extremely overpriced, and I offer a competitive fee that also includes your crown and banner, which most don't. Our winner also goes International Mrs. Universe pageant. I think that's pretty cool, don't you?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's quite amazing, actually.
The owners are based out of Bulgaria, and this pageant system, with my help, will become larger than ever. People in the United States will know about it soon enough. No, it's not owned by Donald Trump. Yes, my winner travels internationally. In 2012, Mrs. U.S. finished first runner-up, and last year we placed as third runner-up in Aruba, and I can't wait to see what happens this August 29th in Malaysia. And the highlight, once again, it's free when you win the national title. You do not have to pay a dime to travel all the way over.
And that's amazing, because you're absolutely right. The few married systems out there, your fee is actually cheaper I mean, I don't know if cheaper is even a good word to say, but it really is. Your entry fee is cheaper for a pageant that actually will take you to an international system than those where you literally just stop at the national title. I'll tell you, I was very attracted to your system just because of that. And then to be able to possibly have that universe experience as a married woman, I think is just incredible.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I also don't require any ad pages. While we love a good program book, they really are truly, even though they're a great memento to have, they're really just a waste of money. Truth be told right there. You know, there's no reason to be charging someone $850 to $1,500 a page. When I choose to do my program books, I charge no more than $200 to $300 a page if they choose to have this, but there's no reason to be ripping women off to compete. At the end of the day, I get that it's a business and everyone has to make money to survive, but I want this to be an enjoyable and affordable experience for every budget.
Absolutely, and I really do love that. It really is a nice budget. You have a beautiful crown, a beautiful sash, which I love that too. I'm just one of those women, you know, if I'm going to enter a system, the crown has to be nice. I don't like stupid crowns. And, you know, this is Pageant Insider News. I'm not always politically correct, but yes, some people have stupid crowns for their national winners, and I just don't like them. And so I just refuse to wear them. And so there are some systems that I've always wanted to be part of, but I will not do it because I hate their crown and sash. So, you know, I think that's really cool.
I believe I might have been a part of that one, yes. So I do agree. You know, everyone listening out there, definitely go and take a look. I'll give you my website at the end of the interview. Take a look at our national crown. It's amazing. No one in the U.S. for married women has a crown better than what we can provide you. It's amazing.
You know, the crown really is amazing. I love the crown, love the crown. Let me ask you, what do you feel it takes to become Mrs. U.S. Universal? You know, what type of woman are you looking for?
I'm truly looking for a very, very humble woman that can relate to everybody on all levels. You don't have to be internationally traveled to relate to people, but you have to be a generous and giving type of person. If you've only lived aristocratic your whole life and you don't know how anybody else lives beneath you, that's a bad term to use, of course, but it's just you can't be a good queen and go to an orphanage or go to a soup kitchen if you've never had a day without your nails done. So I'm just looking for someone very humble and very giving and just down to earth, just an all-around good and wonderful, wonderful person.
Awesome. Well, what are some of the categories that your contestants will be competing in? And I know the pageant is actually in June. And I'll tell you what I love is that the pageant's being held in Rhode Island. So that's fun, you know. So obviously right off the bat, it's going to be nice and affordable, but in a really beautiful state. So I love that. But what are some of the categories that everybody will be competing in?
Everyone will be competing in your typical physical fitness. We do like to see that our ladies are taking care of themselves. You know, if they can't get into the gym and make themselves look presentable, then how are you going to go out there and do everything else? It just shows a dedication, so to speak. They will definitely be competing in formal wear and personal interviews. And one thing that no Mrs. Pageant has that I am aware of, and correct me if I'm wrong, I have added a new category this year, and that is costume competition. All of my Mrs. contestants will be required to compete in a USA-themed costume. So the winner of this pageant will get to wear that winning costume to Malaysia in August.
And that's actually very smart because then you're not running around over the summer trying to put together a costume for the international pageant. That's pretty smart. I told you, everyone, that she was very savvy. I told you about that.
I might as well give them 5 to 7 months to prepare instead of 6 weeks and stress them out.
Absolutely. You know, again, it's really, really smart. Well, how can people connect with you? I mean, are they still able to join and to compete for this year? And if so, how can people connect with you, and how can they enter the competition?
Absolutely. Our deadline is April the 15th of this year, so you have just a few months left to get in. But, there's plenty of time. I do offer a payment plan, unlike most pageant systems where they want 100% or 50% down, and 30 days later they want the rest. I will offer you a payment plan. But everything still has to be paid by April the 15th. You can find us on Facebook under U.S. Universal Pageant, or you can go to our website at www.usuniversalpageants.com. And for anyone that emailed me and says they heard me on Tamika today, I will be offering a $250 discount for Mrs. Entry fees only.
No way. That is awesome. I love it. I love it when I have, the inside scoop. It just makes me happy. I feel like I win. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, that's just awesome. Well, is there anything else that you might want to leave with our listeners? I feel like you've given us a really great snapshot into the world of U.S. Universal. You've given us a great background into who you are. But is there anything else that you want us to leave with our listeners today?
I do. I just want to let everyone know that the biggest difference with the U.S. Universal system compared to maybe other ones is that the contestants are not treated like their numbers. While running a successful business is important, I find it more important to relate to each and every person as best as I can on a personal level. Building trust is important to me, and I value every title holder that I come in contact with. We're a family, and family is very important.
Well, I don't think you could have said it any better than that. And, Victoria, thank you again for your time and for your just sharing your business, sharing your life, and, again, just being really open with us because it's so important. To me, that's a mark of a really great leader and director right there, somebody that can be open about their actual experiences. So, again, thank you so much for joining me on today.
Thank you all so very much. I enjoyed this interview today. Thank you, Tamika.
Thank you. And for everyone that's been listening, make sure that you visit pageantinsidernews.com every single day where we are covering pageant news on an international basis. So you're going to want to make sure that you tune in every single day. Every Thursday I'll be releasing a new podcast, so you'll be able to hear not only from queens, directors, but you'll also learn some really great pageant tips along the way. So until next time, stay inspired, stay motivated, stay blessed. This is Tamika Hall at pageantinsidernews.com.